have other people on the island set tasks for themselves and accomplish them?
Some,
Who?
I mean, Ross kind of wants to build the shelters, but he only accomplished the building like one.
So he didn't truly accomplish building shelters, right? He set out a task for himself and didn't accomplish it. And I think that Golding intentionally includes two boys setting out tasks for themselves and one accomplishing it and one not to illustrate something here. Jack can accomplish tasks. So can violence. Why would we be biologically driven to violence? Why would we as an organism act violently? What's the purpose of that? Ashley?
Survival.
Survival, absolutely. And survival is always, well, first and foremost, a selfish thing. Survival of the organism. So why would I do fight or flight? Two active responses to save myself. Protection, right? And this has got to be effective. So this activity has got to be direct and immediate and effective. Otherwise, it wouldn't work in an organism. He can accomplish tasks. He's the only boy who sets out a task for himself to accomplish and actually does it. What else about Jack? Ellie?
I think he's kind of like reassuring, especially to little kids. Like he's like, oh, and he's around.
Ellie, I love the way that you're looking at that because I think a lot of people wouldn't look at it that way. Jack says, if there's a beast, I'll kill it, and that reassures the younger children on the island. And what else does he do that's similar as far as providing protection or security or securing the group in some way? What did we laugh about Piggy in chapter 1? What was he suffering from? Something else. Did we talk about this in 8th period? We might not have. Piggy is suffering from a different sort of problem in chapter 1 that he doesn't directly talk about and is kind of humorous. Every once in a while, he dashes into the bushes and starts grunting a little bit, and then he comes back to Ralph and says, oh, sorry, I was taken short. What's he referring to? Diarrhea. He's suffering from diarrhea. And now you're snickering. That's, well, yeah, of course, it's funny, right? Suddenly, Piggy says, oh, wait a second, and he runs off into the bushes, and you hear some grunting, and then he comes back, and he says, oh, sorry, I've been taken short. Taken short would be British slang for having diarrhea. So he's got to run off often and do that. And it's kind of funny. Why does Golding include that? If you are on a tropical island and you're suffering from diarrhea, what's the problem?
There's no medicine.
Well, true, but why would you need it? Who cares, right? It's inconvenient, but what's the serious threat to yourself? No, that's a possible reason for it. Actually, the reason for it's probably too much fruit in his diet. He's only been eating fruit for days, so that's the most likely explanation for it.
Can't diarrhea like dehydrate?
Dehydration. You're already on a tropical island and now you're suffering from diarrhea. Guess what? You're going to dehydrate, and if you're a kid, you're probably going to suffer heat stroke, and you could very likely die. Piggy's demonstrating a nutritional problem that the boys have. Their diet is exclusively fruit. They will be dehydrated and they will suffer.
Do they have a direct water source?
Probably. Golding doesn't really discuss it. We would assume they do. They are suffering from a problem. In walks your Savior. What does Jack do? Aaron? Perfect. He is their provider. He is their protector. Ellie's correct. He's reassuring the boys by saying, if there's a beast, I'll kill it. If there were a beast or some kind of animal on the island that were threatening them, do you think Jack would give them a fighting chance of defense? Yes, no, yes, no. What do you think? I think so. I think Jack does a really good job of teaching himself how to hunt. That kid would probably do a good job also of forcing those choir boys into a little army to protect the little ones from some sort of animal. Like him or not, Jack is the one person who provides protection and safety at this point in the novel. He's the only one who does that. What did Hitler do for the German people?
Right.
Huh?
Protect.
Yeah, well, most of them, right? The non-Jewish ones. He provided protection for people. He was able to reach down and tear that nation out of the worst hyperinflation, most oppressed, broken economy, and an ineffective government. You've probably heard this in some sort of social studies class before. Hitler is an evil, evil monster. However, you look to him as an example of what somebody can do to turn a nation that is all utterly failing around. Jack could also be considered an evil, evil monster. You'll see some of what he does later on. But you know what? He's the only person who's doing this. Nobody else is doing it. He certainly wouldn't do it. You think he's going to be out there in the jungle hunting? Yeah, he's going to get about 30 paces before he gets winded and has to sit down and eat some more fruit and goes back into the bushes. He's not going to be doing it. He's doing it. And furthermore, he's doing it. He's actually accomplishing it. Jack's a remarkably effective person because violence and aggression is effective. Okay, Ralph. Let's see. Ralph, representing leadership and collaboration. Where do you want to start? Strengths or weaknesses? Let's talk about how Ralph is effective or ineffective, how he works or he doesn't work. Talk about Ralph. Who wants to start volunteering literal evidence? Adam.
He can organize people.
Good. So he can organize. But hold on for a second, Adam. So can Jack. Jack's method of organization, though, is significantly different. How does Jack enter the story?
He walks in with his choir.
And how are they walking? I mean, how do they proceed in? Do they proceed in
Promptly.
in an ordered column, right? And they're all wearing these heavy choir robes, which is just utterly stupid. Because we're not talking about the choir robes that you might wear, some light, flimsy, cheap stuff. We're talking about British choir robes, which are probably designed to keep people warm in drafty cathedrals. These are heavy wool cloaks on a tropical beach. That sounds comfortable. No, but guess what? Jack gets them to do it, so he organizes them. He whips them into shape, and they walk that line. Even though Simon faints from heat exhaustion, they still do it. They follow. Okay, so Ralph also organizes, but his organization is different. How is it different?
Ralph's is more through trust, and Jack's more through fear.
I like the word encourage because of its root, courage. Courage is the sense of power within yourself. The individual is encouraged when the individual feels like he or she can do something. And you know what? Ralph makes them feel that way. Ralph makes them feel like, yes, we can accomplish something. I have a voice. Show me how Golding explains that. Where do we see in the novel that Jack is having this sort of encouraging effect on people? Aaron.